Okay, now that I have my dumb overlay set up correctly, now I will begin streaming the next game in the Legend of Zelda series, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Still sounds good even in this low bit rate. So that's an interesting little sequence there. This is the first Zelda game to really have an opening like that. Kind of sets the stage for what happens, you know. Link is at sea, gets washed onto an island after a shipwreck. It's simple, it sets the story up. It's everything that an opening should be, and it's 10 seconds long, and it's on a Game Boy game. I think that'll probably be my main comment about this game is it's kind of unbelievable this is a Game Boy game. So there's just an efficiency here on communication. You know, information being communicated to the player. You know where you are, you're on Koholint Island, you know who this character is, it's Marin. It's very simple, it's very effectively done. And this is Terran. And Terran obviously bears a strong resemblance to Mario, which, if you go back and look at the original Super Mario Land and compare the sprites in that to this sprite, that's kind of sad, actually, how much better this is than Super Mario Land. So more simple information communicated to you. Ever since Link appeared, monsters have also begun appearing. Why would that be? Well, we'll find out as we go on. And this the game doesn't do as well. It tells you to go to the beach because there's other items that have been washing up, but it doesn't really tell you why you should do that. Obviously you find the sword there. Which is right there. And so that's your owl guide there, who tells you what your quest is. If you want to get off this island, you've got to wake the windfish. Now, what is the windfish? We will find out as we play. And lots of people call that owl Kippora Gibora. That's not Kippora Gibora. It's just the owl. That is the name of the character. And I love that. I love what the game does there. It's like you pick up your sword, you do the spin attack, and then the famous overworld theme starts playing. See, same tricks from A Link to the Past. Drop down the well, find a piece of heart. Like, even though the game's really only capable of showing like a single screen at a time, it doesn't do scrolling screens. That would have to wait until the Oracle games a little later on, but basically this is just a scaled down version of A Link to the Past, which is pretty impressive considering the hardware that it's on. So the owl is kind of leading you around by the nose here. It's telling you to do things, but it's not really telling you why, what reasons they are you really need to do them. Beyond, do what I tell you and you'll get off the island. This is actually justified later on, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. Okay. Now, I haven't played this game in a few years, so there are going to be times where I'm going to have to wander around somewhat aimlessly while I remember what to do. I do remember if I try to go north from there, then the raccoon messes with me and it doesn't work. So I need to go in here. Can't do anything there till I get the power glove. Oh, I forgot how much of this forest was inaccessible till you got the Power Glove. Or the Power Bracelet, I think it's called in this one. Now we can get past that mushroom guy, or the raccoon. And of course it's Terran. So Terran, who looks like Mario, eats a mushroom and turns into a raccoon. Does that sound familiar? And of course, if I tried to do that before I'd gotten rid of the raccoon, I would have been sent elsewhere in the forest. So now I have a new goal. Go to the Tail Cave and collect a magic instrument that's there. Like in any other game, you would be, you know, drip-feeded these instructions just because that's the way the game is structured. It's like, we don't want you to do things until you're ready to do them. That is how it works in this game. It's the same conceit, but it's actually justified when you reach the plot twist, which we probably won't reach tonight, but maybe in a few nights. And it's a very impressive plot twist. I think most everybody knows it by now, but I'm still not going to spoil it, just in case you don't know it. Okay. Now that I've got some rupees, there can be a few things I do in town before I head to the Tail Cave. Lots of references to other Nintendo games in this one, more so than in many other Zelda games. I'll point them out as they come along as I feel they're relevant, but you'll probably recognize most of them yourself. Alright, let's see if I remember the trick to this. Nope, I don't. There we go. Okay. Alright. Now these are the secret seashells. And I think if you can find like 20 of them, you can get the level 2 sword. Something like that. Alright, I need 200 rupees. So bear with me while I go and play the crane game a bunch of times. Okay, now I got 200 rupees. I can go buy the shovel. Okay. And now he has the bow for a ridiculous amount of money. We'll be coming back for that later. And if you talk to this person, you can begin the trading side quest. Which you have to complete the entire trading side quest to get into the last dungeon in the game. Well, you don't have to, but it saves you a lot of time if you do, because it tells you the solution to the puzzle, which, if you don't do it this way, then you have to brute force the solution to the puzzle, which isn't fun. And it's really not too bad, because actually most of the trading side quest is integrated pretty well into the main quest. Most of the NPCs you have to talk to are on the way to where you need to go anyway, so it's not too bad. And there's a Chain Chomp, obviously, another Nintendo reference. And they're actually not completely out of place, because just like with the owl just giving you directions but not actually telling you what to do or why you're doing it, there's actually a good reason for those things to be here, which you'll find out later. Okay, now I have the bananas, which is about as far as I can go in the trading side quest for a while. Now I'll head to the first dungeon. One thing I like about the shield in this game over other Zelda games is it's an item you actually have to equip and use. So like I can keep it neutral at my side like this, doesn't do me any good. But if I hold down the shield button, then it actually will be used to block enemies. So it's given a lot more utility for that reason than the shield in other Zelda games where it basically just automatically blocks things. Like see right there, I got hit by a projectile because I didn't have my shield up. And that would lead actually directly into Ocarina of Time, believe it or not, where you have to do the same thing. Another thing that Link's Awakening does, it's very different from other Zelda games, is you have to find the keys to get into dungeons. Whereas in most other Zelda games, you just gotta find the dungeon entrance. And I think that's something that actually gives Link's Awakening's overworld a lot more meaning. Because it's not just about finding dungeon entrances, it's also about finding the means to get into those dungeons. I gotta be careful not to die, because I am going for the hidden ending, which you only can get if you beat the game without dying, which can be a problem in the early game when you have hardly any health. In fact, I'm going to save. Come on. There we go. At last! I've been in here 2 minutes. This is a fun little thing, just a one-way door here. Weep, weep. There are other one-way doors in other Zelda games, of course, but none that work quite like that. I just like that little, how it flips around. I think it's clever. It doesn't do it in the overworld, but you can see here that the dungeons in Link's Awakening actually do have the 2 tiers, where I can go up the stairs there and actually end up on a 2nd floor. That exists on the same level here, but the dungeons themselves are also multiple floors. Obviously, there's limited power, processing power, since it's a Game Boy game, so it doesn't do it too often, not to the extent that Link's Awakening doesn't, but it is a mechanic that was carried over, which I think is very impressive. Most of my commentary about this game will probably be, I can't believe this is a Game Boy game. And a little carryover from the original Zelda, where sometimes you go into an area, it actually turns into side-scrolling. But this goes to a much greater extent than anything the original Zelda did. Ah. Alright, now here's something that's completely alien to Zelda up until this point in the series. Jumping! You had to go to the Adventure of Link to be able to jump, and most people didn't like doing that, because most people don't like Adventure of Link. And there have been other Zeldas since that have let you jump, but I really do think Link's Awakening does it best, still. Like, Minish Cap has the cape that lets you jump too, and I'll get to that later, but I'm less enthusiastic about how it did it there. Partially because that cape came so late in the game that it was kind of worthless. There wasn't really anything left to jump through. But we'll talk about Minish Cap when we get there. I'm sure my comments about Minish Cap will be very divisive. Yeah. And now I can use the stone beak to make these owl statues talk. who gives you hints to get through the dungeon. I probably won't need to use them. Hey. There we go. And that's the first mini-boss in Link's Awakening, which... Come on. There we go. Which is a good example of a Zelda boss. It's got a simple concept and a simple solution. He throws basically a spiked barrel at you, and you jump over it and slash him, and you just repeat till he dies. Oh, that's right. And people should remember this boss from A Link to the Past. And he's got the same gimmick. Except here you're fighting him with only 3 hearts, so he's a lot more annoying. Oh, bite me. Hey, there we go. I didn't mean to do that, but it worked. And here's the first of the magical instruments. And a little hint on where to head next. I'm looking for a swamp. I was instructed to give you directions. That's a hint. And off I go to Gopanga Swamp. And in typical Zelda fashion, now that I can jump, anyway, now that I can jump, my range of movement and the areas I can access is increased greatly. Alright, now we've got to go rescue Bow Wow, which we'll take care of that in a little bit. Now that I've got some more rupees, I'm going to do this minigame real quick. One tedious thing is it tells you how to do the minigame every time you play it. It's not the best. Now I'm going to try to sneak this under the other two. Don't always pull it off, from what I remember. Do. Oh, screw you. Okay. Okay. And here's the fish I really came here for. Which, of course, you basically have to fish the pond dry to catch it. Come on. How do you get so fat ignoring food? Wow. No thank you. Okay. Now we'll go rescue Bow Wow from the moblins. Let's see, which way do I go? Like I said, I think it's been about 10 years since the last time I played this. I'm a little rusty on some details. There we go. This is right. The windfish in name only, for it is neither. I'll let you ponder on that one. I'm not going to explain what it means. An assassin sent by Madame Meow Meow. This game can be a little ridiculous. But it is I who will get you. Hey, how many hit points do you have, jerk? There we go. One interesting thing about this is a Zelda game that doesn't actually have bottles in it, so you can't actually capture fairies and take them with you. I'd forgotten that little detail. Hey, later on you still can get a potion that brings you back to life. It works just like the fairies do in just about every other game, but... A Link to the Past introduced bottles, because Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 didn't have them. And this game didn't have them, this is the fourth one. And... I really can't remember which games had bottles or not, but all the console ones after this have had bottles. Okay. That's just an interesting little detail because, like, Miyamoto said that he kind of saw the bottles as a way to scale the difficulty level yourself. Like, not using any bottles would be playing the game on hard. So now I'm taking Bow Wow for a walk. And this actually functions as the key, quote-unquote, to the second dungeon. Because Bow Wow likes to swallow things whole. Anyway, going back to that point about bottles, if playing a game with no bottles would be hard mode, according to Miyamoto, then that would mean all the Game Boy Zeldas and the classic Zeldas on NES were on hard mode by default, which is... First, I don't think anybody would argue with that. I think these games are much more difficult than any of the console ones, really. It'll be a while before I get up there. Music, the fish stirs in the egg, you are there. Oh, back in the day when things were both cryptic and poorly translated, which made them almost impossible to understand. Alright, now that I've got Bow Wow, I can get through this area. Normally these blossoms are impassable. Yay, rupees. I'm so excited. Alright. And this is the second dungeon. Bottle Grotto. Which, unfortunately, Bow Wow can't come in here with you because that would just make things too dang easy. Oh, of course, I want to save. Very important that I save regularly, because I am going for that hidden ending, which you can only get if you beat the whole game without dying. And it's a Shy Guy! More Nintendo enemies. Of course, back in Dungeon 1, I did run into Goombas briefly, but I was so busy running past them I forgot to point them out. But we'll see more of them as well. And, just like in Mario, the best way to deal with the Goomba is to just jump on its head. Ugh. Almost as annoying as Navi telling you how to open doors, except in this game, they keep doing it over and over and over. If you touch something that's heavy without the power bracelet equipped, it'll tell you every single time how to... You can't pick it up, because it's too dang heavy. Oh, I don't think I want to be here yet. Here I go anyway. Oh yeah. Definitely not ready to be here yet. Okay. So that was the mid-boss, so... I definitely advanced much faster than I intended. Hey. Oh boy. Oh shoot, are you kidding? Alright, I'll go deeper in. I need to get back there so I can grab the key that's back there. I really need to get back there to get that key. Alright, well, I'll reset the dungeon. There we go. This. I need to get back to hit this. That was silly. There we go. Now I'm back on track. Yeah, I know it's pretty heavy. Come on. Obviously, since the Game Boy has fewer buttons than the Super NES controller, they had to compromise to get all the tools in. You're working with 2 buttons, so they made it fully customizable. You can assign any item to any of the either one of the 2 buttons that you want to. I'm really stubborn, and I don't like unequipping my sword, so this means that I usually end up cycling my weapons a lot. So as we get deeper into the game and I get all of the other toys, you'll be seeing me pause the game a lot, and you're just going to have to deal with that, because that's how I play. There we go. Goombas and piranha plants. And there's an interesting reason why these things exist in a Zelda game, which we'll get to later on. Oh yeah, I've got to kill these guys in a certain order, and I don't remember what the order is. Apparently that was the order. Oh, come on. Now this is a fun little thing you can do, and I don't think you can do this in A Link to the Past, is you can actually switch these blocks around and stand on top of them. Which opens up some path variations over the course of the game. And I think actually in one of the later dungeons you actually need to do that to solve a puzzle. Oh, that's right, that's how you kill these things. You throw a pot at them. Wish I would have remembered that before. Those things are called Pole's Voice, and they're actually an enemy that was in the original Legend of Zelda 2, and interestingly enough, you would kill them by using a microphone peripheral that was only ever released in Japan. So it became where you had to either shoot them with an arrow or chuck something at them, like a pot. So, cool idea that stopped being cool and just became irritating. Disappointing, but that's how it is. Okay. Usually when I die in this game, it's to this boss. So, I may end up resetting. I apologize if that happens. This boss is a pain in the butt. See, I don't even know if I remember how to hurt this thing. That's right. Okay. I think this is where I usually die. Oh. I guess little kid me just sucked. That must have been the problem. I remember quite a few times dying to that guy's fireball attacks. I just gotta say, that's actually a really good sounding instrument to be coming out of Game Boy technology. And later on, when all the instruments are playing at the same time, it sounds amazing. But it's gonna be a few nights before we get that far. Come on, Bow Wow. Eat the flower. Yeah, that's annoying. The level's called Bottle Grotto. It's in the shape of a bottle. I hate stuff like that. I really do. Oh, I think that is the windfish egg right there. We'll go up there and take a look at that real quick. Yep. And there it is. That's where the game ends, but we still have a few more dungeons before we get that far. This is exclusive to the DX version of the game. That's the version I'm playing, the color version. I went back and forth on whether I was going to play the original Game Boy version or the DX version. I ended up picking the DX version because it has more stuff in it, basically. Oh yeah, you won't talk to me when I got Bow Wow with me. You're no fun. Oh yeah, this is Crazy Tracy. So basically she gives you a recovery fairy for 28 rupees, which is a bargain. And now I don't have to be so worried about dying. Because basically I have an extra life now. Oh, I need the hook shot. That's no help. And here, this was carried over from A Link to the Past too, with the demon that curses you by making you carry more stuff. Oh no, please don't do that to me. See, he punishes you by making you carry more stuff, but it's a game where there's no punishment for carrying as much stuff as you want, so it's just a little bit of video game humor, really. Yeah. There we go. And I think that's actually a third of the heart pieces in the entire game I've gotten. I think there's only 12. Although, I will give this game credit. Its heart pieces are much better hidden than they are in most Zelda games. Most Zelda games, the heart pieces are out in plain sight, and the object is solving the puzzle to reach them. The early heart pieces in this game are quite easy to find. It's the ones that you find later that even just finding out where they're at is a complete mystery. Oh, let's look at this guy real quick. This is Mr. Right, who, it's kind of hard to tell because of the Game Boy graphics, but it's actually Dr. Right from the Super NES version of SimCity. And we'll be going to talk to him later. And of course the joke is, in this game he's Mr. Right because he writes pen pal letters, but in Super NES SimCity, he's Dr. Right because he's always right. You should always do what he says. Yay! Alright, I'm gonna do a save here. Come on. That's a nice thing about saving in Link's Awakening, is when you save, it just puts you right back into the last building you entered or exited. Whereas in A Link to the Past, you basically get your pick of 3 locations in the light world and 1 location in the dark world, and it can be frustrating sometimes. Alright. So let's head off to the next dungeon, Dungeon 3. Oh, and this is a warp point, which is no good to me now, because I haven't unlocked any warp points, but this one. But later on I can use that to get around quicker. Zombies! Okay. Those are all places I go to later on. It's really not worth my time to check them out now. I think the DX exclusive dungeon is around here somewhere too, but I've only done that like once, I think, so I have no memory of it. Here stands a brave man. Say cheese. Alright, this is the photo album, which is exclusive to the DX version. It was actually compatible with the Game Boy printer, which I'm sure is a really rare collector's item right now. And I'm sure the paper for it is even more rare. Because you could actually print these off into a tiny, tiny little sticker. But I don't have my Game Boy printer anymore. I sold it to a friend. But that's something else we can unlock over the course of the game, is all kinds of pictures. Any number of which I'll probably miss. Yeah, need the Pegasus boots to do anything in there. Uh-oh. I'm being bad. There we go. That's just an interesting thing about the Zelda series, is you open a cave and you could open it up and find something inside that almost kills you, and then the next cave you find a fairy that saves your life. This is Richard, who is actually a cameo from another Nintendo game, but most people don't realize that because the game was never actually released in Japan, or in the US or in Europe. It was only released in Japan. And I think the game is called For Whom the the bell tolls for the toad or something. I don't know. Some frog reference. And he's actually an assist trophy in the newest Smash Brothers games, too. You know, like the assist trophy who shows up and then turns into a frog and starts beating people up. That's this guy. Same character. And so he's actually blocking the way I need to reach to get into the third dungeon. And I've got to go do his little fetch quest in order to get in. There it is right there. Okay, so I've just gone in a big circle basically because I'm filling the map in. I am trying to do a 100% completion run of this game and really hoping I don't miss anything because I don't remember every detail about this game. Ah. Oh, I hate these things. This is the secret seashell house up here, but I don't think I have enough shells yet to do anything there. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, I gotta come back with 5 shells, and then I can get the first reward, which actually, if I remember correctly, one of the rewards is actually a secret seashell. So he actually has one of the shells that he wants me to find. Actually, I also believe there's more secret seashells in the game than you actually need to get the final reward, which is the level 2 sword. Here's Candlelight Castle. Which I'm not quite ready to go in there yet. Animal Village, we'll be going there later, obviously. Nothing in this game exists for no reason. We'll be going everywhere at some point. There's my 5 secret seashells. And there's Martha, who is hiding under the water because in the Japanese version of the game she'd actually lost her top, but they changed that for the English version, obviously. I don't even remember if I can do anything down here yet. I'm gonna look anyway, because I'm being anal. Yeah, I can't do anything here yet. No! I don't want that. Okay. But that is the thing about the secret seashell house, if I remember correctly, which I fully admit I may not remember correctly, is if try to go there before, like, I have 5 secret seashells now. You get a reward at 5 secret seashells. If you go there at 6 secret seashells, you don't get the reward. Which is silly, but that's how the game works. Yeah, see? A reward for collecting secret seashells is another secret seashell. I don't know. The secret seashells is probably one of the odder Zelda collection side quests because, again, there's actually more secret seashells in the game than you actually need to get the best reward. So, like, the question kind of lies at, do you need to find every secret seashell to say that you completed the game? Or do you just need to get the best reward for finding 20 of them? Different answers for different people on that question. Whereas in every other game, like especially the Gold Skulltulas, which is the example that everybody immediately thinks of, as far as the Zelda collection side quest goes, is you would need 100 Gold Skulltulas to call it completed, and there are only 100 unless you're glitching the game out, which, why would you do that? Some people really enjoy intentionally breaking games. I don't. I don't even understand the impulse to do it. Stop it. Around here, secrets are nigh. Okay, that means there's something buried here. Yep, there we go. I'm just gonna destroy the landscape because I feel like it. Okay. Those little phone booths, if you go in there, you can get actually hints on where you're supposed to go next, but though I haven't played this game in 10 years and I don't remember a lot of the specifics about what I'm supposed to do, I remember generally where I need to go at each different point in the game, so I don't really need to go in there. But if you're wondering, what is that building with the telephone on it? It's actually where you go to get hints. Okay, now we'll head inside Canelet Castle, which, as I did earlier in the trading side quest, I traded a Yoshi doll for a ribbon for dog food for bananas, and now I give the bananas to Kiki the monkey here. Making a return from A Link to the Past, in fact. It's the same monkey that lets you into the first dungeon in the Dark World. Probably not the same monkey, but it's a monkey with the same name, so it's the same idea. And now I get the stick, which I'll need that in a bit. And now I can get into the back entrance of Canelet Castle. remember in A Link to the Past, you snuck into the castle by slashing away a bush, revealing a secret entrance, and same exact thing. The Zelda series is nothing if not consistent. And there's a bunch of puzzles you have to solve to find all the golden leaves that are hidden in here. Luckily, I remember the solutions to them all. Like throwing a rock at the raven to make it attack you. Otherwise, you can't hurt the stupid thing. Okay. That's 2. Just checking, just being thorough. Oh yes, anti-fairies. They return from A Link to the Past, and the same trick still works on them. Screw you. Nothing else hurts them but magic dust, and I don't think there's a single thing in the game that actually communicates that to you. Two more gold leaves left to find. Alright. This is where most people get stuck here in Candlelit Castle. Bombing these statues and revealing actual guards inside, you know. How are you supposed to guess that? I don't know. I distinctly remember solving that puzzle for the first time, and I was just at the point of just try anything. I don't know. And speaking of try anything, a door here that you can't get to open unless you throw a pot at it. Which, I think it's the only door in the entire Zelda series that's the only way you can open it. Okay. Now I can go get the third dungeon key. Just like Hyrule Castle and A Link to the Past, especially the first visit there, this kind of is a dungeon, but not really. I'd actually kind of like to see that more in more Zelda games, just little miniature dungeons. Like, most of the time in a Zelda game, what you find is you'll find a cave with enemies in it that you have to kill. It's not really an actual miniature dungeon. I'd like to see that more, like, especially in Zelda Wii U, I'd love to see just a castle just stuck in the landscape that you just go inside and just look around inside to see what's there. Basically, I'm asking for Zelda to become Skyrim. that might be a bad thing, but we'll see what happens. Secret seashell number 10, or 9, actually. Number 9. And I don't remember if it's a 10 or 15 secret seashells, but just like with the reward for finding 5 secret seashells, if you don't go and get the reward when you have 10 secret seashells, you don't get it. Which I'm really not a fan of, but that's how it works. And there's dungeon key number 3. Hey. One thing I would criticize this game for is it does have you running back and forth over the same areas a little bit too much for my taste. I think that could have been cut down on by just having a little more streamlined level design, but I still think, considering what the game is and the technology that it's on, it's actually still pretty impressive what they were able to accomplish with it. And there's number 10. So, head back to the secret seashell house one more time to see if there's a reward for it. Yep. And, once again, another secret seashell. Alright. So 9 more secret seashells I need to find, and then I get the level 2 sword. I think it's 20 secret seashells. I don't think it's 15. 15's pretty easy. I'm already 2/3 of the way to 15. I've only done 2 dungeons. We'll worry about that later. Alright. At long last. Dungeon 3. Key Cavern. Oh yeah. I need Pegasus shoes there. A chest with a slime in it, that's just mean. Oh, really? Some of you are probably saying, you know, there's glitches you can use to get to places faster. So I'm aware. I'm not using glitches. If you watch all of my Zelda streams, you will see I'm never going to intentionally use a glitch. Certainly not for my own benefit. The only time I would use a glitch intentionally would actually be to make the game more challenging for myself. That would be about the only time I would do it. Oh. Are you? Wow, really? It went on the wall, so I can't reach it. And there's nothing here anyway. Okay. And I do need the Pegasus shoes to get across there, so I'll be coming back there later. Oh, come on, really? Thank you. Aww. I lost my power-up. Seriously? Oh, well, shoot. Okay, well, now I know that's there. I don't think I even had any bombs to open that up with anyway. Oh, come on. And there we go, there's my magic potion working for me. Not the best place to use it, but... Oh, that's my luck. Run out of health, then I find a fairy. And still don't have enough keys. And this is what a Dodongo looks like in Game Boy. Same solution as in Ocarina of Time, throw a bomb in their mouth. Except here it's much trickier. Unless one gets itself stuck in the corner like that, then it's very easy. Hey. What sucks is if you run out of bombs, which is very easy at this point in the game, because you can only carry 10. But if you understand the trick that when you're carrying the bomb, the fuse doesn't actually count down, and it resets if you pick the bomb up, then you can save yourself some bombs. There we go. I suck at this, but this is a cool mix of the items. Pegasus boots plus Rock's Feather means long jump if you can do it right, but I'm an idiot, so I can't do it right. Alright, come on. What the hell? This may be a limitation of the controller I'm using. There we go. No, it was just me being an idiot. I am using a Retron 5 to play this game, so I'm using this controller, so not everything functions exactly as was originally intended. But this was the only way I could actually stream the game, so I had to make some compromises. That was odd. And another bad dungeon pun here. I'm in the key cavern, which is in the shape of not one, but two keys. Oh my gosh. Stop with this, please. You're killing me. Ooh, 200 rupees, very nice. Okay, if I die, I'm gonna be very irritated. Oh, please. Hey, die when I hit you. Okay. This is getting tedious. Okay, stop that. How the heck do I hit these things? Oh, Jesus Christ. Screw you. Go to hell. Okay. That was just embarrassing. Once again, I'm having to be really careful that I don't die at all because I'm going for the hidden ending, which you can only get if you clear the whole game without dying once. Which is actually kind of difficult for a Zelda game, because this is not one of the easier Zelda games. Oh, that's right. Oh, don't mess this up. Yeah, much easier to handle when there's not a pit in the way. Oh, they just love to go to a corner where I can't reach them, don't they? Neener, neener. Oh, we'll see about that. Another simple Zelda boss. Use your dungeon item to reveal him, then attack him. And this one, you gotta split in half. Hey. There we go. If you jump when they land, it won't stun you, which is helpful. There we go. And there's the next instrument. Waterfall. It is hidden in the waterfall, and this next part, just unlocking this dungeon, the next dungeon, is amazing. It's my favorite dungeon entrance, I think, in any Zelda game except for Ancient Cistern and Skyward Sword, which is breathtaking. But we'll get there later, because I'm going to stop here for the night, and I will resume tomorrow, which will be Wednesday night, where I'll probably do another 3 dungeons, aiming to finish this Friday, although I may finish it Thursday, you never know. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.